Module 7. Factors in negotiations. Identification-based trust. Identification-based trust refers to a type of trust that is built on a shared identity or set of values. It is based on a sense of commonality and mutual understanding between individuals. In negotiation, identification-based trust can be compelling, as it can lead to more collaborative and creative problem-solving. One way to increase identification-based trust in negotiation is to find areas of common ground. This can involve exploring shared interests, values, or goals. By identifying areas of overlap, parties can build a sense of mutual understanding and trust. For example, if two parties negotiate over a contract, they may discover that they have a shared interest in environmental sustainability. This shared interest can be used to build a connection between the parties and increase identification-based trust. Another approach to increasing identification-based trust is to use storytelling. This involves sharing personal stories and experiences to connect the parties. By sharing personal experiences, individuals can build empathy and understanding, which can help to increase trust. For example, a party may share a personal story about when they faced a difficult challenge to build a connection with the other party. Finally, another way to increase identification-based trust is to use team-building exercises or other collaborative activities. These activities can build a shared identity and purpose between the parties. For example, the parties may engage in a joint problem-solving activity or work together on a project. By working together, parties can build a sense of trust and collaboration. Identification-based trust can be an essential factor in negotiation. By finding areas of common ground, using storytelling, and engaging in team-building activities, parties can increase identification-based trust and improve their negotiation outcomes. Characteristics of audiences. When communicating with an audience, it is vital to understand their characteristics to tailor the message appropriately. Here are some significant characteristics of audiences. Demographics. This includes characteristics such as age, gender, education level, income, and occupation. Understanding these demographic factors can help to shape the message in a way that is most relevant and relatable to the audience. Psychographics. This refers to the personality traits, values, beliefs, and attitudes of the audience. Understanding psychographics can help to shape the message in a way that resonates with the audience's worldview and motivators. Cultural background. Cultural background can influence how audiences interpret and respond to messages. It is essential to consider cultural nuances and sensitivities to avoid miscommunication or offense. Prior knowledge and experience. The prior knowledge and experience of the audience can impact their level of understanding and engagement with the message. If the audience has a low level of prior knowledge, it may be necessary to provide more background information. Conversely, if the audience is highly experienced, the message may need to be more complex and nuanced. Emotional state. The audience's emotional state can impact their receptivity to the message. For example, if the audience is anxious or stressed, they may be less receptive to an overly negative or critical message. Communication preferences. The audience's communication preferences can also impact the effectiveness of the message. Some audiences may prefer visual aids or interactive activities, while others prefer a traditional lecture-style presentation. Understanding the significant characteristics of audiences is essential for effective communication. By considering demographics, psychographics, cultural background, prior knowledge and experience, emotional state, and communication preferences, communicators can tailor their message to resonate with the audience and achieve their communication goals. Use of constituency to show militancy. Use of constituency to show militancy. The use of constituency can be a powerful tool in negotiation, particularly when trying to demonstrate militancy or a firm stance. A constituency refers to a group of individuals or organizations that share a common interest or goal. In negotiation, a party can use its constituency to show its strength and commitment to its position. One way to use the constituency to show militancy is to involve them directly in the negotiation process. This can involve bringing constituency representatives to the negotiation table or holding public meetings or rallies to demonstrate support for the party's position. By involving the constituency directly, a party can show its strength and commitment to its position and signal to the other party that it is willing to take a firm stance. Another way to use the constituency to show militancy is to leverage their support as a bargaining chip. For example, a party may threaten to mobilize its constituency to pressure the other party to make concessions. This can be particularly effective if the constituency has significant political or economic power. However, it is vital to use the constituency judiciously to avoid escalation or backlash. If the constituency is perceived as too extreme or militant, it may undermine the party's negotiating position or damage relationships with the other party. Therefore, it is essential to carefully consider the potential risks and benefits of involving the constituency in the negotiation process. Using the constituency can be an effective way to demonstrate militancy in negotiation. By involving the constituency directly or leveraging their support as a bargaining chip, parties can signal their strength and commitment to their position. However, it is essential to use the constituency judiciously and consider the potential risks and benefits of involving them in the negotiation process. Strengthen coalitions. Strengthen coalitions. In negotiation, coalitions can be a powerful tool for building strength and increasing bargaining power. A coalition is a group of two or more parties to achieve a common goal or objective. By forming a coalition, parties can leverage their collective strength to achieve better negotiation outcomes. One of the main benefits of a coalition is increased bargaining power. When parties come together, they can combine their resources, expertise, and networks to create a more powerful negotiating force. This can include pooling financial resources, sharing information and expertise, and tapping into each other's networks and connections. With increased bargaining power, coalitions can often negotiate better terms and achieve more favorable outcomes than they would achieve. Another benefit of a coalition is increased leverage. By forming a coalition, parties can signal to the other side that they are not alone and have support from other parties. This can make the other side more willing to make concessions and come to an agreement. However, there are also potential risks and challenges associated with forming coalitions. One risk is that individual parties may have different interests and goals, and these interests may need to align better. This can create tension and conflict within the coalition, making it difficult to achieve a common goal. Additionally, forming a coalition may require significant time, resources, and coordination, which can be challenging to manage. Coalitions can be a powerful tool for building strength and increasing bargaining power in negotiation. By pooling resources, expertise, and networks, parties can achieve better negotiation outcomes than alone. However, it is essential to consider the potential risks and challenges associated with forming a coalition and ensure that individual parties are aligned around a common goal. New partners in a coalition. The founder makes explicit offers to attract new coalition partners based on 3 criteria: the resources they can contribute, the legitimacy and compatibility of their interests, and the likelihood that they will cooperate in the future. Considering these factors, the founder can strategically expand their coalition and increase their bargaining power. Negotiations with 3 or more parties. Negotiating with 3 or more parties increases the complexity of the negotiation process. This is because more parties mean more interests, goals, and priorities that must be considered. There may be more issues to be addressed, and each party may have different preferences and positions on each issue. Furthermore, when there are more parties, there is a greater likelihood of miscommunication and misunderstandings. Negotiators must also navigate the dynamics between the parties, such as alliances and coalitions, which can change throughout the negotiation. In multi-party negotiations, it is vital to establish clear communication channels, identify common ground, and build trust among all parties involved to ensure a successful outcome. The Connect Model. The connected model is a framework for building and maintaining effective relationships in negotiation. The model requires 3 key elements: rapport, empathy, and trust. Rapport involves connecting with the other party by finding common ground and building a positive relationship. Empathy is understanding and appreciating the other party's perspective, needs, and feelings. Trust is the belief that the other party is honest, reliable, and has positive intentions. To build a successful relationship using the connected model, negotiators must be willing to invest time and effort into understanding and valuing the other party while demonstrating integrity and building a track record of trustworthiness. Characteristics of male negotiators. It is important to note that gender is not the sole predictor of negotiation style or behavior. However, research has shown that male negotiators exhibit more assertive and competitive behaviors, such as making more aggressive opening offers and being more likely to use threats or walk away from a negotiation. Additionally, male negotiators may be more likely to view negotiation as a zero-sum game and focus on winning rather than reaching mutually beneficial outcomes. Negotiators need to recognize and challenge their own biases and assumptions, regardless of gender, in order to engage in effective and collaborative negotiations. Dispositions. Scholars generally recognize the importance of dispositions in negotiation, but there is some debate. Dispositions refer to the individual characteristics, traits, and personality traits that people bring to a negotiation, such as their levels of assertiveness, agreeableness, and openness. Some scholars argue that dispositions are critical determinants of negotiation outcomes and that negotiators who possess certain traits, such as high levels of agreeableness or emotional intelligence, are more likely to be successful in negotiations. Others suggest that dispositions can be critical but are not the only factor determining negotiation success, and other factors, such as situational factors and negotiation strategies, are also critical. The importance of dispositions depends on the negotiation's specific context and the negotiator's goals. While some negotiators may be able to rely on their natural dispositions to be successful in certain types of negotiations, others may need to develop specific negotiation strategies or adapt their behavior to the situation to succeed. Management of conversations. The concept of tone is crucial in successfully managing conversations, particularly negotiations. Tone refers to how a message is conveyed, including the choice of words, voice inflection, and body language. The tone can either facilitate or hinder effective communication and influence the negotiation outcomes. A positive tone can help build rapport, trust, and mutual understanding, while a negative tone can lead to defensiveness, mistrust, and conflict escalation. A skilled negotiator should be able to use an appropriate tone to create a collaborative and respectful atmosphere, foster productive dialogue, and achieve mutually beneficial outcomes.